no matter what happens, a Zerg is walking home empty-handed today. We've got 2 Zergs in the losers match, Rogue and HyuN. They both fell. Now we're going to find out which one survives to face Classic in the final match.
That's right. HyuN versus Rogue. Should be, I would give this one to HyuN in terms of recent results. HyuN has actually been very, very good against Rogue. Look at that, 90% win rate right now. Coda, Terraform, Echo. Remember these maps. Coda to start things off here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 100% win rate for Rogue, but he's played 3 games, 3 series, so...
With this map pool, we've got 3 2-player maps, so early pools and things like that are always a possibility.
There's always that possibility for sure, but
HyuN beat 3-0 Dark, and he beat also before that, he beat Lucero 3-0 when Lucero was on top of the world in Pro League.
Yeah.
Rogue beat Sulky once 3-0. That's where his 100% comes from in Star League. So he was able to beat Sulky back then, but Sulky retired shortly after that. A lot of people question whether he was really in form or really practicing at that point.
I don't think he is. I think he must have gone back to Brugor or something because, yeah, he has not been a happy chappy with Starcraft 2 for a while.
I like HyuN's chances here a lot, man.
Yeah, if he's prepared, as much as he prepared for that first match, I think he's in a very good place to defeat Rogue and take it one more time against Classic.
All right, let's see if he can do it. To the top left in red. We'll never know. He is HyuN. It's HyuN.
Very powerful ZVZ player. And there's Rogue. Before we see him in game, we see him on the screen. He is the bottom right. Changing things up just a little bit here. That's Star League, apparently. Now, no early pulls this time around, so both players having a gentleman's agreement, shaking hands before the match, saying, you know what, I like you, let's make some roaches.
CHL 9501. That's a cool picture of that 3-headed dog. That Greek god, a guardian of the underworld.
That's cool. I like that.
I like that a lot.
It's badass.
Someone on Twitter pointed out as well that last season he was like a Doberman, so it's kind of like, it is somewhat evolved form of that to go into the 3 heads.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Rogue's logo there just had a one Swarmos said beyond your imagination, perhaps referring to that one game where he went for the Flying Locust upgrade.
We are seeing a hatch first from Rogue, pull first from HyuN. A little bit of an advantage in terms of economic proportions. Doesn't make sense, but Rogue with a slight little lead there.
He gets that eco lead. Slightly. Because obviously the pool first player gets the first queen, gets more larvae, so can catch up pretty quickly. So it's a small lead.
That's right. I mean, it really just, in terms of production, you have your production advantage. Get more larvae with that extra hatchery and your second queen out a little bit faster. But on the other hand, you do get lings a little quicker with that pool first.
And that's good for scouting sometimes as well. You get those up if you can get in there.
Rogue actually even going for that gas before pool, so he wants his that link speed out a lot quicker. Maybe we'll see some potential harassment with the Ling Bane, some aggression early on. Always a great way to put your opponent on the defensive, force out too many Lings instead of drones, and behind that, the aggressor will drone up and take a little bit of a lead in that way as well.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a little bit of time before we see what happens here. What are your thoughts on kind of how we've seen a little bit more Muta versus Muta in ZVZ? Why do you think that's started to happen a little bit more in Korea? Do you think it's just kind of everyone played a little bit more or a little less aggressive, so it was easier to get that sort of thing out? Roach timings became worse?
I think it comes more down to how aggressive they are more than anything else. We are seeing like Ling Bane versus Ling Bane. Usually a lot of the early game is going to be, that constant fighting in the middle of the map or at each other's bases. And the natural transition from there is usually Mutas because it's a lot harder to get roaches up off the ground from that sort of state. It really depends on the player as well, what they're preferenced in. Like HyuN, I think HyuN likes his roaches a lot more than his Mutas these days. But he would mix it up as well. He's very intelligent when it comes to his Zerg versus Zerg. Rogue, on the other hand, can go either way. I can't remember the last time I've seen Rogue. It's been so long since I've seen Rogue go for a ZVZ. in Pro League or in
Yeah,
Star League.
Star League last time he played was versus Soki. No joke. We had the stats up on screen
That
there.
was Season 1. So
that was Season 1. That was the very first match of Star League, period, right? Like
5 months ago or something now.
so long ago.
But both of these guys pretty much ending up in the same place. The HyuN's Zergling speed a little bit further behind because he didn't go for that gas first before pool.
Just slightly.
And he went for that pool first as well. So his build was pretty different.
We saw that that Rogue did get the scout on HyuN's Baneling Nest. He has his own coming up as well. So he's going to be prepared, he's going to have the response for this. And we don't know if he's really going to commit to Baneling aggression either. HyuN could also just be getting the safe. But the fact that he hides it, though, is... I mean, it's not always a tell, but it's more of a tell of aggression. Because you want to make sure that's hidden. But we are going to see that it's, in fact, Rogue who moves across the map with Lings to attack first.
That's right.
And HyuN is just defending.
Straight into the lair behind that, too. So this is just the applying the slow aggression, try and force out too many Lings from HyuN. HyuN's going to be very smart about it. There are only 6 on the way, plus 2 Banelings after his 2 initial ones.
Queen's on the ramp as well.
Yeah, no real danger here at all. Oh, doesn't commit to a Bane to stop the scouting, so he's going to know that his lair is miles ahead here. And from here, Rogue can just pull back, and it's going to be up to HyuN if he wants to try and counterattack, or he's just happy with where he is right now.
Looks like Rogue expects a counterattack. Makes 2 Banelings at home, 2 Spines as well. It's going to start adding those extra gases. Very cheap to do so. 25 minerals a pop.
Yeah, look at this big counterattack. And a third base from HyuN. This is very intelligent.
I like this a lot.
Means that even if there is a Mutatech and it comes out a lot quicker from Rogue, he will have that third base up before the Spire is complete. He can put down spores and be pretty defensive against it.
Canceled 1 Spine upon seeing the force that was coming across the map. He feels like he can deal with it with just 1 and his defensive Banelings. 4 more about to finish. He's going to have 6.
Split those Banes up. Going to split those Banes up.
Oh, man. 2 for 3.5.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a blunder there.
2 Lings get into the main base.
Oh, it sees everything he needs to see. He's like, okay, Spire is the choice here.
He's going to try to go for a Roach timing off 3 base behind this. He's making a ton of drones to support that follow-up attack. And it's going to have to hit really soon. Like, he's going to have to time this perfectly, basically.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised if he actually decides to go for that. I feel like he can stabilize on 3 base now that he made that hatchery so quickly. Though we haven't really seen him go into lair just yet. He doesn't have the gas for it as well. And no upgrade either. There's the lair. So it looks like he will pull back, try and just take it in macro game. But he's going to be behind in tech for a while. Just has to defend against the mutas and make enough queens and spores.
Yeah. Seems like he is going to leave those overlords out there, actually. It's kind of a catch-22 for Zergs in this case when you know mutas are going to come and kill your overlords, because if you move them off the map, then you don't have vision of the Lings that are possibly going to kill your third base. But if you leave them out there, they're going to die, so it's expensive. You're going to lose them, and you're going to have to replace them. So looks like he's going to choose to leave them there, which I think is a pretty decent choice considering his third base is so greedy and early.
Yeah, he can let that go. I mean, it's also going to buy time for all these defenses to get up at home when he sees mutas working on these overlords. He's pulling back the ones closer to his base, but the 2 that are out there trying to scout everything, they're certainly going to go down.
Yep. But enough Roaches here to hold off this lane push. Very well placed. And the spores going up at each of his bases.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful spore defense.
I really like how he's doing this. He can actually add an infestation pit fairly soon as well.
Yeah, that'd probably be his next step here. You don't really want to go straight into Hydralisks after Roaches because Banelings become a lot more of a nuisance then. But there we go. Infestation pit going down. He wants to get those 6 gases up and running as soon as possible so he can bank for them. And beyond that, it's going to be like Roach Infestor into Hydra. And you might look for a timing of the finder, or you might want to try and go into 4 base and just play that long game.
Ooh, look at this. He's not really going to commit to mutas. He's going to go into his own infestors. This is going to be a fun game. This is going to be like Wings of Liberty, Roach Infestors, ZVZ, man.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those long games. One of my favorite kind of ZVZ.
Definitely the most exciting.
2 massive amounts of Roaches and Hydras flashing in the middle of the map. Concaves.
He is actually going to add a few more mutas, 6 more. Going to put him up to like 14, just looking at that unit count.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
This is interesting as well, the Baneling run by attempt.
This is cheeky, is what that is. Let's see if that actually gets something done here. Looks like he's going to go for it now. Hopefully the Observer keeps an eye on it. Or I will.
Here they come.
Here we come. This is a Roach and a Queen in position for it. It's going to stop at least some of them. If he's not paying attention,
he's not paying attention.
Everything.
10 drones.
That's a huge hit there.
One more hit, or just a little bit better of a hit, could have gotten him like 4 more.
He could actually move up 2 Lings there, 2 Banes there if he wanted to.
Good spotted, though.
Spotted, busted.
Look at how quick Rogue reacts to this.
Yeah.
Again, just a little bit slower in that regard. A fast hive, actually, rather than investors here for
Hey.
Rogue. Do you think Ultras?
I think Broodlords. I think this is a very quick Broodlord.
I guess that makes more sense.
Broodlord rush.
With +1.
Yeah, that Spine Forest is going to try and buy time to get right after Broodlords, and I do like this style a lot. If he gets away with it, if it becomes unscouted for this long, like he can just completely supply HyuN, and HyuN will not have an answer for it.
I haven't seen a game like this in Korea in like a year.
It's very rare that this strategy is ever used because it can get shut down pretty quickly if HyuN even remotely scouts it. So that's why he made so many mutas, and that's why mutas are like kind of like so active on the map, trying to deny all sorts of scouting. But look at this, HyuN's like, you know what? I'm going to come across the map. I'm going to try and destroy you with the timing, you know, and he might be primed to do it. He's actually in a really good place right now.
There's all these spore crawlers here, plus the cleans and transfuses he can use. There's not enough lings, so these mulas can't really do much.
I think the fact that he's seen so many mutas and lings on the map kind of gives away the fact that he is banking for a tier 3 sort of tech.
Yep. I mean, he actually doesn't know. He knows that there's no like real ground army. He's going to see now these spines. He needs those hydras to help deal with this. He needs to start to step up. Okay, there he goes. These hydras in the back are free to do massive damage, plus the infested Terrans that are coming down. However, Queen, the Queens are dying to the Ling and Mutalist counterattack. Some of his spores got moved. I'm not sure if he's got many in the main anymore. Okay, he says he has 2 here, but one might actually get taken out before it goes down. It got blocked there.
Yeah, he needs his roaches to hold the lings off so the spores can remain in place. If he can do that, then there's no way that Rogue can really punish him any further than this.
Keep a close eye on the drone count here for HyuN. If he can escape with some drones, that would be nice, because he might need to actually make some structures. The Greater Spire is not done yet.
He found it. And currently there's 7 corruptors on the map, so if it finishes, he can morph them. Not going to finish though. Huge blow there.
Wow. And that means the corruptors are essentially useless. Not going to be useful for anything. Let's see how many of these drones he can actually escape with. GG just types out instead. There's too many spores. And HyuN takes game 1 with a crazy game that went very back and forth.
Great read from HyuN, only seeing the army, and he knew exactly what he had to do. And Rogue looking a little tilted at this point. He was so close to getting those Broodlords, the Broodlord tech available so he could morph those Corruptors, but seconds away. And he wasn't really set up for a decent sort of base trade scenario either. He didn't really have drones on the map. He didn't have a building on the map as well.